I got a camera. I got a camera. It's so darn pretty. I got a camera. I got a camera. Today's video is going to be a DIY. Well, obviously it's going to be a DIY. That was stupid. So before starting this project, I took a trip to Michael's. Alright guys, I just got off work. It's hot as balls outside. AC, that's so much better. Alright, there is a hexagon storage device here. The top of it has little divisions up here and some hooks along the side. And there's a lazy Susan on the bottom, so that when you place it on its flat side, it can turn as it's sitting on your desk. There's some little drawers here, but I'm not going to worry about doing that because, or it may be a challenge for me. I don't know. We'll see. This retails for $50, so I'm going to try to recreate this myself. I started this particular project, because I wanted to do a thank you for one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Paloma Bates. She runs Coupon to Provide. She definitely has been a huge inspiration to me as far as things that I would like to do for my channel, how I would like to operate my channel, and just an overall positive image of what a YouTube channel should be. And if you're interested in checking out her channel, I will make sure that I put a link in the description. This is actually going to be a gift to her as a thank you, because when I started off doing this whole project of me starting my YouTube, one of the reasons why she's one of my favorite YouTubers, she's one of the very few YouTubers, if you respond to them, she will actually respond back. Even when I send her messages on Facebook, she actually responds back. She's very interactive with her viewers, and she shows that she's actually appreciative and interested in her viewers. And I look forward to mimicking that behavior in my own videos. I would like, and I aim to be as caring and as attentive as she is to her viewers. And you know what, that's another thing too. She was one of the very few people first people who actually subscribed not only to my Facebook page but to my YouTube page, and other than my boyfriend, was the first person to comment on my video. So I appreciate that. I really, really do. She had a contest on her channel that her viewers would send in a photo of something that we did as a result to an inspiration to what she does on her videos. So I sent her, it was actually perfect timing because I had literally just pretty much finished the room to get it somewhat how I wanted it to be to actually function in here. I sent her the material that she asked for, and she picked 5 winners, and I was the winner of the number 3 prize. And my prize was basically a box full of cosmetic material. So this is everything you need. Things you'll need are poster boards, hot glue, a cutting blade and tape, stickers or decor, Mod Podge, pen or pencil, a ruler or straight edge, paint, a picture frame is optional, marbles, a cake pan or pie pan. First, print out a hexagon shape and trace it onto the poster board. If you want to go with something simpler, print out a square. Next, using a cutting blade, cut out the hexagon shape that you traced. I got these blades from the Dollar Tree, so they're not expensive at all. Trace and cut another hexagon the exact same size. Next, using a ruler, trace the length and width of the walls that you would need to create space between the 2 hexagons. This is only needed if you want to create drawers. Make sure that the length measurement isn't longer than your hexagon. The width would be how deep you want your drawers to be. Next, just cut them out. Grab the glue gun and line up the corners of the walls to the corners of the hexagon that are parallel to each other. Using the tip of the glue gun, smooth out the hot glue between the base and the walls, and repeat the step again. put hot glue on the top of each wall so that you can place the other hexagon on top. Turn it upside down and apply glue in the creases on the bottom of that base. Now, using your base as a guide, line it up to another piece of cardboard and trace the width down the line of the cardboard, and cut it out using a ruler to keep the line straight as you're cutting. Now, using that same cutout, place the cutout to the edge of the hexagon and line it up with each corner to cut out, to have a measurement to cut out the size that you need for the walls. To add hooks to two of my walls, I'm going to cut off the plastic hooks from these suction cups that I got from the Dollar Tree and hot glue them to the wall. For a little added support, I'm going to put tape over each hook. To decorate the walls, I'm going to use this really pretty duct tape that I got from Walmart for $1.25 out of the clearance section. I'm going to cut the duct tape off of the walls, and on the back I will cut little slits so that it will make it easier to fold the tape over the back of the wall so that it will look more uniform and fleshed. In here, I continue to add another piece of tape down the wall. For this part, I actually cut the tape at the length that I needed, but I also divided it down the middle so that I could have half of a strip to put at the bottom and also a strip to place in the middle. I cut little slits along each side of the hook so that it could look really neat and pretty. Next, I grabbed some black duct tape and placed it at the top of the wall. And I placed glue tape underneath it along the two hexagon sides and along the base of the board. Next, I add another piece of black tape to the bottom. I also cut slits in this as well to make it fold into the piece better. For the wall next to it, I just added a plain piece of poster board so that I could decorate this side. Next, I used a smaller hexagon and placed it in the middle of the larger hexagon and measured the distance between the two corners to get a measurement for the dividers for each compartment area. Next, I cut out squares the exact width that I need to create my dividers. I need the top of the dividers to come down at an angle so that I can see the storage compartment area. So I cut the angle, and I also used that square as a guide to cut more dividers at the same angle. To create a barrier in front of the storage area, I cut out a piece of poster board the length of the hexagon side. Using that cutout, I will cut and measure 5 more sides the exact same length and width. Next, grab your glue gun and glue the dividers to the front barriers at an angle. I didn't get to record the next part, but measure the distance between the two dividers and cut out a square the exact same height of the dividers and the width that is needed, and glue the backing to the two dividers. Cut out 6 more squares exactly like the first one and work your way around attaching each square and divider to the previous square and divider along with the barriers. I found it easier to attach the square backing, then the front barrier, and then the divider, and repeat those steps. Once you successfully attached all of your dividers and backings, next go back over each, if you want to, you don't have to, but I personally went back over each area where there's white showing and covered it with the black tape. In between the two creases where the barriers and the dividers met, I would make a little slit in the corner areas just to make the black tape fold down easier. Next, I grabbed the same decorative duct tape and taped the inside of the hexagon where the storage area, the middle storage area, would be. Next, I lined the inner creases of the outer storage compartments with more black tape to hide the hot glue. Next, I cut poster boards to the width and height of the last opening on the hexagon shape to create small drawers and glued them together. I cut one board for the base, 2 for the side, and 2 for the front and back. And trimmed off any excess if necessary. This step is optional, you don't have to do this, but I wanted to decorate the outside of the box side, so I put more decorative tape on each side of the drawers. And I used more black tape to trim around the box to make it look neat. If you notice this tape isn't sticking down properly, use a little hot glue. I decided I wanted the front of the drawer to have a little lip to it, so I traced the front of the opening to the drawer and made 2 the exact same size. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to, this was just my preference. And then I glued my cutout to the front. When I put the box in, I noticed that the drawer had a little bit too much lip for me, so I traced where I wanted to stop and then cut off the excess. Then I trimmed the front with the black tape. Again, I put little slits in each corner so that the black tape could fold down easily. Next, I grabbed some cardstock paper and traced the front of the box to the back of the paper. Then I cut it out and glued it to the front of the box. I trimmed off any extra if necessary and trimmed it again with black tape. Next, I needed to create pulleys for each of the drawers, so I cut off slithers of poster board and wrapped them in decorative tape. Next, I grabbed my glue gun and glued the pulley to the front of the drawer and repeated these steps again. After completing the second drawer, I put the 2 into the contraption and they don't fit. Fuck. I noticed the drawer was only about 1 inch or so off from being flushed with the contraption. So I measured off 1 inch and trimmed off the extra from the back of the drawer. Then I split down the sides and the bottom of the backing and cut that off as well. I also removed some of the hot tape and then reattached the backing to the original drawer and re-trimmed the drawer with black tape. Try it again and we're good. Okay, now taking another piece of poster board, I trimmed the top of the storage area of that hexagon and cut out another hexagon, and covered that with the same decorative tape that I placed in the inside of the storage area so that it would all match. Then I flipped the hexagon over and trimmed off the excess tape. Next, I placed hot glue on the bottom of the storage compartments and placed the hexagon on the bottom. Again, just trimming off any extra if needed, and then I'm going to trim this with some more black tape. Here I'm just adding extra black tape to each edge. I wanted it to be a little more secure, so I just added extra tape to each edge. Next, I placed some hot glue on top of the drawer storage compartment and placed the open storage compartment on top of that. For a little added security, I put some more hot glue in the creases where the bottom and top meet, and I again trim it with more black tape. I definitely use a lot of black tape. I ran the black tape around the device about 2 or 3 times just to make sure that I had enough coverage on the top and the bottom. Here I just took a couple of stickers that I got from the Dollar Tree and started decorating them however I felt. The heart stickers I actually got from the Hobby Lobby for 15 cents each after Valentine's Day, and they had a lot of their stuff on clearance. I really don't have much of an idea of what I'm doing as far as the sticker placement. I'm just trying to be as creative as possible. If you do decide that you'd like to have some sort of theme, I'd suggest maybe planning it out before. One thing I learned about Paloma is that she really likes Snoopy, so I printed out a couple of black and white Snoopy images and colored them with Copic markers. Then I cut them out so that I could use some Mod Podge to decorate with them. Everyone has their own methods as to how they like to apply their Mod Podge. I personally like to place the Mod Podge on the back of the image first and then add another layer on top. As I said before, her YouTube page is called Coupon to Provide, so I will place her acronyms right beside Mr. Joe Cool. These silver letters were also purchased from the Dollar Tree as well. As I started to Mod Podge things to the storage device, I noticed that there was a difference in the glossy look and the original matte finish. So I decided to Mod Podge the whole thing so it could have a more uniform look. Paloma also likes ladybugs, and they have a significant meaning to her, so I lined the inside of the drawers with pink ladybugs with a stamp pad that I got from Hobby Lobby for I think $1 and some change. Again, use hot glue if you notice that something is not sticking correctly. As I stated before, this step is optional, but if you want to make a matching picture frame to go with your storage device, you can do that. This one I'm starting off painting black. Don't forget to paint the outer rim and the inside of the frame as well. Next, I cut out the image of Snoopy painting a picture of Woodstock, but the image is a little bit too big, so I Mod Podged the image to a piece of poster board and cut out the poster board the exact size of the image. Well, not exact, but close enough. Grab some more black acrylic paint and paint the edges of the poster board. I also painted the background of the image black as well so that it could look the same. Now again, this is another part where I really didn't have a plan of how I wanted to decorate this. I just knew that I wanted to incorporate little parts of everything that was in the storage device to the picture frame. So I don't really have any rhyme or reason of how I'm placing any of this. I'm just placing it onto the picture frame. Here the duct tape doesn't go quite all the way around the edge, so I'm using some hot glue to help adhere it to the picture frame. Sorry, I'm out of frame here. I'm still getting used to the camera. Using the same silver letters I used previously, I am going to spell Bates across the top. That's her family's last name, and continue using the same stickers that I used previously on the storage device. And now I will glue Snoopy and Woodstock to the other corner. Here I'm adding some more little Woodstocks as if they're sitting and waiting to get their picture painted as well. And now that I'm done decorating, I will place Mod Podge on top of it to protect it. And now this is the part that I learned from her channel. I will place one pie pan on the bottom of the storage device itself. And on the second pie pan, I will trace a circle around the inside of the rim, a little bit away from the edges. And I will also follow that same circle around with hot glue to create a border for the marbles that I'm going to place. I will trace this circle with the hot glue about 2 times. Next, I trim the bottom pan with some more of the duct tape and also put slits in that duct tape as well as I'm pulling it up so that it looks neat going around the base of the pie pan. then I placed the storage on top, and that's it. I decided to go back and also add a little Mod Podge on the inside of the drawers as well to add a little protection to them. Okay, so that was it. Obviously, there's not going to be any before and after pictures of this because it's not a makeover or anything like that. This is just a video for me to show you how I did this project. I actually got a really huge project coming up. I can't wait to share. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say what it is right now, but it is a huge project. This one honestly will be more for the guys. Y'all thought this was going to be all girly stuff, right? It's not going to be all girly stuff. Unless you're a girl that happens to be into this profession or dabble into this, because you know I can't really make that stereotype because I am definitely into a lot more masculine activity. Again, I appreciate the love and support. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching this from Facebook, obviously go over to my YouTube and hit the subscribe button. I learned this on this side, so it's up there, right down there, right there in that corner down there, somewhere down there. Just click it. I know it's on this side. Last video I said I didn't know what side it's on, but I looked last time, so I know it's on this side. Click right down there, okay? Thank you. Much love.